Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has now attacked the central government over fishermen issue. Addressing a public meeting in Nagapattinam, Chief Minister M.K. Stalin asked the central government to treat fishermen from Tamil Nadu too as Indians.
About 13 Indian fishermen who were in proximity of Delft Island were taken into custody, and there was indiscriminate firing from the Sri Lankan Navy.
Of course, when our fishermen by mistake cross the borders, they get arrested, but the government immediately intervenes and makes sure that they're released on time.
India and Sri Lanka. The two civilizations are once again at loggerheads. An issue as old as time surfaces once again. We've seen agreements fail, practical arrangements fall apart, and talks continue. But no real resolution yet. At the center of the row are fish. It's a border issue as usual for India. For decades, Indian fishermen have been unintentionally crossing maritime borders to put food on the table. The Sri Lankan security forces greet them with an iron hand. Worse still, from time to time, reports surface of Sri Lankan forces opening fire on Indian fishermen.
The Sri Lankan Navy has been arresting and harassing Tamil Nadu fishermen. They have taken away nearly 210 boats of our fishermen. It is their livelihood.
This fishing war between the two close neighbors has been continuing for decades. Coastal residents of both nations are financially dependent on fishing. The geography complicates conflict further. When you think of borders, fences come to mind. But that can't be the case for maritime boundaries. An invisible line marks the divide. The India-Sri Lanka maritime boundary roughly looks like this. When people from either side cross the line, well-equipped navies detain them. Let's face facts. A common fisherman, Indian or Sri Lankan, may or may not have the equipment to detect invisible lines on a map.
Fishermen go to sea, they don't know, they cannot measure like road, or there are no milestones in the sea to tell them that you have crossed this much of the area, that much of area. So the international law of water, sea, says that in traditional fishing areas, there is no bar in fishing. But this the Sri Lankan government does not care for that.
If we look at the data, in the last 20 years, Sri Lanka has detained over 6,000 Indian fishermen. From 2010 to 2020, 3,470 fishermen were arrested and 3,450 of them were released. Unlike the cases of Indian fishermen held in Pakistan and Bangladesh, the arrests in Sri Lanka are significantly higher. The reasons why Tamil Nadu fishermen have to travel farther and farther from the coastline to get a good catch are many. Climate change, surging demands, increased use of trawlers, and large-scale commercial fishing are just a few of them. Through the years, successive Tamil Nadu governments have knocked the centre's door. In 2025, it's DMK in the state and BJP in the centre. Political rivals who must come together to solve an issue inherited from the past. The M.K. Stalin-led Tamil Nadu government has time and again accused the centre of not doing anything about the fishermen of the state.
Their entire livelihoods, their families, everything is affected. And the union government, which has promised to have deliberations between the fishermen groups and also have committees formed to resolve this issue permanently, has not done anything about it so far.
The government of India does not care for the people of Tamil Nadu. That is the problem. If they really have interest in the citizens of India, they should have intervened, they should have discussed, taken up the matter with the government of Sri Lanka and done good to our Sri Lankan fishermen.
The allegations are not just one-sided. Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi met protesting fishermen demanding the release of those detained by the Sri Lankan government. Here's what he said.
ഉള്ളുടാൻ എനിക്ക് അനുതാപമുണ്ട്. ഈ പ്രശ്നം 2 ആഴ്ചകൾ மத்திய அரசு மாநில அரசு ஒன்றாக தீர்வு காண வேண்டும். அதனை பற்றி நான் முயற்சிவேன். I will try.
While the governor talked about center-state working together, he also tweeted about an agreement. It was in 1974 that the Indira Gandhi-led government signed a treaty with the Sri Lankan government of Sirimavo Bandar Naike, the Indo-Sri Lankan Maritime Boundary Agreement of 1974, defined the maritime boundary between the two nations, from the Park Strait to the Adams Bridge. At the time, Indira Gandhi was India's Prime Minister and the legendary M. Karunanidhi, father to M.K. Stalin, was Tamil Nadu's CM. This 1974 agreement also paved the way for the 1976 Pact, which gave away the Kachthib Island to Sri Lanka.
जब कांग्रेस की सरकार थी तब कई दशक पहले इन लोगों ने कच्चा तीवू आइलैंड श्रीलंका को दे दिया। किस कैबिनेट में ये निर्णय हुआ, किसके फायदे के लिए फैसला हुआ, इस पर कांग्रेस की बोलती बंद है।
In 2008, governments of both the nations agreed to put in place practical arrangements to deal with the fishermen crossing maritime boundaries. However, it remains unclear what these practical arrangements were. Also, it was clearly agreed upon that there won't be any firing on fishing vessels coming from India. But such reports continue to haunt civilians of both nations. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has time and again assured that the government makes every possible effort to safeguard Indian fishermen. Recently, he pointed out that India has urged Sri Lanka to convene the next round of fishermen-level talks. Darkening the drama is also a communal clash. Tamilians and Sri Lankans have had a chaotic past, to say the least. And this decades-old menace adds fuel to the fire. Now the big question is, will India and Sri Lanka reach a common ground and find a permanent solution? Or will fishermen of both nations continue to bear the brunt?